SpaceX Raptor engine. SpaceX CEO Elon Musk informed employees on Black Friday that the production situation is a crisis and urged them to work over the weekend to improve the Raptor engine line. Mr. Musk wrote in an email that the company faces a real risk of insolvency if the company does not increase production of its Starship rocket to support a high flight rate next year. SpaceX's Raptor engine is a large methane engine that will power its next-generation Starship launch vehicle. Astronauts will be able to travel to the moon's surface by 2025 via SpaceX's Starship lunar lander, which NASA awarded SpaceX a $2.9 billion contract for in April. SpaceX has been hard at work developing and testing prototypes of the Starship rocket at its test site in Boca Chica, Texas, but has not yet launched it into space. SpaceX hopes to launch Starship for the first time in January or February 2022, according to a presentation Musk gave to the National Academy of Sciences on November 17th. SpaceX must launch Starship at least once every 2 weeks next year to keep afloat, according to Musk's email. According to reports, the development of the Raptor engine has stalled, as reported by SpaceExplored and CNBC. Following the departure of senior management at SpaceX, SpaceX's employees investigated the Raptor production difficulties more deeply and concluded that they were far more severe than was previously acknowledged. This month, CNBC reported that 2 vice presidents had left the company. One of the vice presidents handled the Raptor engine development. In an email, Musk wrote, "I had planned on taking the weekend off, as it would be my first weekend free for a long time." In an email, Musk wrote, "Instead, I will be working on Raptor all night and into the weekend." The CEO encouraged employees to come to Hawthorne, SpaceX's headquarters in California, unless they had urgent family concerns or couldn't physically return. Musk announced that Starship would participate in the launch of the company's next-generation Starlink satellites in the future, as well as transport people into deep space. The Starlink project by SpaceX consists of a massive constellation of about 12,000 satellites delivering broadband internet to consumers throughout the world. Raptor engine program is a disaster. In the email, Musk stated that he would be out of the office during the long Thanksgiving holiday. Musk, however, announced that he will personally work on the Raptor engine production line through Friday night and into the weekend after learning of the crisis. "Rather, frankly, it's a disaster and we need to recover quickly," Musk wrote. The billionaire creator has consistently stated that the most difficult aspect of building SpaceX's massive rocket is production. With many prototypes in the works, the business has progressively built up its Starship production and testing facility in Boca Chica, Texas. Musk announced on November 17th that SpaceX plans to ideally fly the first orbital Starship voyage in January or February, subject to FAA certification and technical readiness. According to SpaceX, Starship is totally reusable, with both the rocket and its booster able to land and be recovered for use in future missions. Partially reusable Falcon 9 rockets from SpaceX are available. Landing and relaunching rocket boosters can be done regularly, but not the rocket stage. Musk admitted earlier this month that he was unsure if Starship would make it into orbit on its first launch, but that he is certain the rocket will reach out into orbit by 2022. Moreover, he claimed that Starship development has been at least 90% internally funded thus far, and that the company does not anticipate external funding or collaboration with external agencies. As of yet, SpaceX has launched only the first version of its Starlink satellites, known as V1. However, a majority of those satellites do not possess lasers that enable them to interact with one another, despite some of the more recent launches possessing this capability. In the end, SpaceX intends to launch its version 2 satellites, which will be considerably larger and will have laser communication capability. According to Musk's email, Starship is the only rocket capable of launching these huge satellites. Alternative approaches. The Space Shuttle, on the other hand, used a more hybrid approach. Its primary engines, which fired continuously from launch to orbit, compromised performance on both ends of the flight profile. The shuttle ended up with a nozzle that was as large as feasible at sea level. It really pushed the boundaries of flow separation without going too far, but much smaller than would be ideal in a vacuum. In addition to flying in dense atmospheres, SpaceX's Starship's upper stage is also designed for space travel. In order to address the nozzle size issues, it will use 3 sea-level Raptor engines and 3 vacuum Raptor engines. Starship vehicle was mounted and tested with one of the vacuum engines on Thursday. The RL-10 from Aerojet Rocketdyne, the most experienced US upper stage engine, has a tremendous expanse ratio, meaning its nozzle is substantially larger than its throat. As a result, this engine can only be tested in a massive vacuum chamber on the ground. The SpaceX test on Thursday was conducted outside, a few feet above sea level in South Texas. What are SpaceX's methods for testing the vacuum-optimized engine without destroying it? Elon Musk, the founder of SpaceX, responded to the topic on Twitter, saying that the business solved the problem by designing the Raptor engine to produce extremely high chamber pressure. Because the engine had not yet been properly optimized for a vacuum, there was enough room for flow separation to not destabilize it.